Love Hurts. That's right, folks. This is the new film starring leading man. Is it safe to say he's a leading man now because he did this? Huy Quan. It's been a couple years since his Oscar, which is a very deserving win. And since then, he's talked about how that hasn't really opened up a lot of doors for him to get new opportunities. He's had a couple of voice acting gigs and a couple of appearances, like he did a season of Loki. He was in Kung Fu Panda, but he still hasn't broken through yet. So we have a first-time director who is primarily like a stunt guy. He worked on like a lot of stunts and did some stuff that capacity. Why not get that guy to make a movie, and we can get Huy Quan in here and maybe do something a little fun, which is kind of what you want. Like, there is definitely like the pivot you could make to having him become like the Keanu Reeves adjacent, like a guy who had it and then like was out of favor in Hollywood, and his rebound is coming back, awards recognition, make him an action star now. Like, that is a clear trajectory you could go down with this path. With Huy Quan, I'd like to see it happen. So, I mean, of course, I want to see him succeed. Let's do like our kind of pseudo John Wick martial arts movie resurfacing of this genre and see what we can accomplish. I think that's exciting. On paper, this talent is exciting. In execution, it's something different altogether. This is a very boring movie, and I hate that so much for so many reasons. First off, this movie is 83 minutes. I think that's even with credits. It's short. It is quick and breezy, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels very long in the neck, and it's just like we're just holding on to stuff for a very long time. There are weird editing choices where it feels like we don't cut away from a sequence for too long, like we linger after a sentence ends before we cut to the next sequence, or somebody says their line. And that is very strange, and I don't think that fits well. Maybe that's because if we cut it quicker, we'd only get this to 70. That's possible. But boy, oh boy, when you have such a breezy length, it shouldn't feel so tedious. It should just be all hits, no slow moments. But there is a bunch of slow moments that appear in this movie. That's a shame, man. I really don't like that. And when you're billing this is like, it's Huy Quan, known for he won his Oscar for doing kung fu moves in a silly movie. Why does the action look so boring in a movie like this? It's really weird how you have a stunt guy and a taekwondo guy coming together, and we just can't capture a visually pleasing aesthetic. It feels like this story was written at like the height of the parody, not even parody, like the John Wick homage, where we think because we have like a cool actor and like characters who are dressed funny, things can be interesting and that's going to sell itself. It just doesn't work. And so much of this movie just doesn't work. The plot of this movie, if there's just a basic one, is we have Huy Quan playing Marvin. Marvin is like a realtor. He just won the Regional Realtor of the Year award. And he's really happy in his life. And he's telling like his coworkers, like, it's okay, find something that makes you happy. Then he gets a card in the mail because a mysterious figure from his past is returning. And we find out that he was like connected to, he worked for his brother. His brother's played by Daniel Wu. And he was like a big head of an organization that run like drugs and killing people and stuff, like vague crime mafia brother. There was like a woman that worked for them who had like information she was like bringing down the organization, and before she gets like killed, Marvin like pretends like he kills her so she can sneak away, and then he like leaves the organization to become a realtor. The problem with this whole plot is that it's so poorly explained, the connection to anybody, and why nobody bothered to do anything about it. Like, it becomes this point that like these three characters work together to embezzle this money, and there was like 4 million, and then like 2 million was going to this person, and then like where's the rest of the money, and like if they knew about that already. And there's just so many characters that you're introducing that just don't matter, and they're not interesting. And then so much of it is just really contrived plot reasons. Like, okay, so you have the three characters who are kind of connected. You have Huy Quan, Ariana DeBose, and Daniel Wu. The movie does a very terrible job of like explaining how none of them have interacted since their last interaction, because it really feels like they've all been living in the same city. Like if she escaped this life of crime, why is she bartending in the city that she escaped from at an establishment that Kei Kwan knows? Like, I don't understand that. And if he's being a realtor in the city that like his brother still runs crime out of, it's not like they're traveling from, Hong Kong or something to like come here. They're all based in like the same city block. It's very strange, and it's the limitations of the budget, and you can definitely feel the limitations of the budget in this thing. Not a lot of great takes. We're filming in pretty much like empty houses that are like show homes, so it doesn't really matter if it gets destroyed or not. It's not like a big thing to worry about. And the blood effects look terrible. I think this is an R-rated film because they were swearing a lot. But if you told me they filmed this to be like a PG-13, and then decided later to make it more adult by having all of the gangster characters say the F word every 2 seconds, I wouldn't be surprised, because it really sucks. Like that, it doesn't sound like people naturally saying the F word. It just sounds like, well, this is how bad guys talk. They talk with bad language, which is kind of true, I guess, but so it looks bad. The conceit is terrible. The action sucks. And the acting is just really weird choices. I will say this about the acting. There's one performance that's fine. Well, there's two. There's two performances that are fine. The minor one, which is Sean Astin, who just shows up and is like, my buddy from the Goonies is a pretty tough SOB. And I'm like, that's why you get Sean Astin. Because he is just nice man in nice clothing, wearing a cowboy hat. And then I do think, for the most part, Kei Kwan is doing fine work. He is playing this character and this role like it might be the last time he gets to lead a movie. Like there's so much just about him that you can pick apart in this performance where it's like, this is him getting the chance to do the thing he should have done throughout the 90s and 2000s. Like, he should have had his Jet Li trajectory, his Jackie Chan trajectory. He never got that. Here now, like maybe filling that role for like this generation at this age, it would be cool to see. And I think he does pretty good at maintaining the same level of like, I'm the fun, happy realtor. He's really good at that stuff. Like playing a silly version of a guy, he's really good at that. And when it gets serious, it's working, except the action that he's a part of is so poorly paced and edited that it destroys that part of his performance. But he's playing this with the right level of sincerity, which really works. But then you have Ariana DeBose, and what happened here? What is happening with her? I feel like since she won her Oscar, which was the year before Kei Kwan won his, she has never put in like a performance where I'm like, finally, we're seeing a master at work. This was an abysmal performance for her. I know what they're trying to do with her. The idea of this movie is, look at this most beautiful person you've ever seen, and how every man's like, she's a menace that's going to ruin our lives. And maybe she will. I don't know. But she can get close to playing that kind of like snarky, Black Widow adjacent character that's dangerous and alluring. But the script does no benefits for her in that capacity, and I feel so bad that that's what she has to put up with. And then you think of like her previous work. She was in Argyle doing like nothing. And then she was in the Craven the Hunter movie doing nothing. Literally CGIing her mouth moving. Does your agent hate you? Are you like forbidden from being in a good movie again? And then these two apparently have like sexual chemistry, but it literally feels like two people that are friends. I think there's genuine love between Kei Kwan and Ariana DeBose, like off screen. But on screen, I don't want to see like my dad Kei Kwan kissing Ariana DeBose, like I don't need that. Daniel Wu, it's a choice that they write for that character where he's always drinking like Boba, it's like, whatever. Marshawn Lynch, it's almost funny, but it's kind of annoying at the same time. There's a character I find very interesting. Like, why the hell did we throw her in here? That's Leo Tipton. Or Lio? Is it Lio or Leo? I'm thinking it's going to be Leo. She's like the assistant or like someone that works at the realtor place with Huy Quan. And her character is just, I hate my life. I'm sad. I kind of want to kill myself. I'm clearly depressed and I hate my job. Nothing about life is good. But then she meets the Raven, and the Raven is an assassin that was hired. Okay, yeah. The Raven was hired by Huy Quan's brother to like find out where Rose was. And then Huy Quan beats him up and then leaves him in his office. So he writes poems and no one understands his poems except Leo Tipton's character does. Then they have like a romance. And there's like a stupid fight later where he's like a knife guy and he fights gun guys. Oof. It's dumb. And like, if you want to do the John Wick thing, don't hire Marshawn Lynch. He's not an action star. He is a comedian. He's essentially playing the same character he played in Bottoms, which is just unencumbered guy who doesn't really give a shit. It's weird, and it doesn't work. There's so much of this film that doesn't work. And it's 83 minutes, so you just think it'd be like all killer, no filler. But that is just not the case. It's it's all filler. And then you're like, when you think it's going to be killing, you're like, oh, this doesn't look like it's good killing. Which is a shame. And you know what? I think Huy Quan can come back from this. I really hope so. I would love to see him get like a Donnie Yen moment, because aren't they talking about like a spinoff for Donnie Yen's character in John Wick? Like, where is that for him? Like, I think he can find one. And this, on paper, seems like it could have been that. Because he's so talented. He's so fun. I really like him. I want him to succeed. Why are we not doing Short Round? What are we getting from not doing a Short Round TV show? Like, just, you could call it Short Round, and I think it's more acceptable than people, like, just recasting Indy. You know? Like, what are we doing? You could literally just do the reverse, where Huy Quan's character Short Round, he goes to museums and returns artifacts to the place. And that can cause some conflict in like the 80s or whenever it would have to be set. I don't understand. Anyways, love hurts. Yes, it does. I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.